Okay, actually the mobile slipped from my hand. Okay, so I gave you example of the unicellular. Chlamydomonas, paramecium, bacteria, they are all said to be unicellular because they are made up of only single cell and all the functions are together done by that single cell. Multicellular on the other hand, numerous cells are there. Okay, now different shapes. Remember I told you, see how many variety of shape is there. A smooth muscle cell looks something like a spindle, whereas blood cells, see the variety of shapes which are there. This is your nerve cell. It's hard to call it as a cell also, isn't it? It looks somewhat like your badminton racket, but this is one single nerve cell of your body. This is the cell which is called a fat cell. See, the fat cell. Each fat cell will look like this. A bone cell will look in this particular shape, something like a star. The sperms, the reproductive cell, the sperm of the male is very tiny, worm-like, whereas an ovum, female cell, reproductive cell, is quite big, large and spherical. So sometimes in the exam, any one of this picture might be given to you and you might be asked to identify which cell it is and where is it found. Clear? So be prepared with these diagrams. In biology, all the diagrams are very, very important. Okay, you may be asked to draw or sometimes you may be asked to identify the given shape. Fine? Okay. Now, as I told you that cells are having definite shape, at the same time amoeba will keep on changing cell shapes. It doesn't have a definite shape at all. Then the division of labor, I mentioned that in multicellular organism there is a division of labor. So each cell will have a definite component which we will see in the later part of the chapter. Component means parts. A cell is made up of many different organelles which are present. These organelles each perform their function and that is how the entire cell performs the function. Clear till here? So based on this much topic you are having the blue questions. In my maths and science classes I have told you that you have to write down whatever I asked you to write down in your classwork. Don't write the remaining things. Then children message and text and ask me, teacher, what is the homework? What is the homework? So please pay attention to what I am telling you. Here the homework is these two answers, which are questions which are to be written down from this chapter. First is who discovered cells and how. You know that Robert Hooke was the first person in 1665 who discovered it. And where did he find it? In the cork cells. Correct? Then why is cell called the structure and functional unit? Because your cell cannot, the cell's functioning and the structure is deciding the entire life's functioning and structure. Is that point clear or not? So these are the two answers which is to be mentioned. Now we move ahead. The different parts, what is cell made up of, or what is the structural organization of a cell. The structural organization of the cell, if you try to see, the basic thing main thing which is made up of is the cell membrane. What do you understand by the cell membrane? Cell membrane is also called the plasma membrane. Okay, plasma membrane is the outermost membrane, outermost limiting membrane is called the plasma membrane or the cell membrane. This particular membrane is having a definite feature. It is selectively permeable. What do you understand by selectively permeable? Permeable stands for permit, allow. It allows, what does it allow? It will allow entry and exit of various materials in and out of the cell. But how is it allowing? It is selecting. It is having the feature of selection. Means it can decide which material is to enter and which is not to enter. Which material is to exit and which is not to exit. So it is selectively permeable. And it is made up of lipoprotein. Lipoprotein stands for lipid and protein. Lipid is fat. So fatty and protein. These two nutrients of your food is utilized in making up the plasma membrane or the cell membrane. The entry and exit of gases. Which gases are very important for you? Well, oxygen. Oxygen has to enter and carbon dioxide has to exit, isn't it? So entry and exit of gases is taking place by the process of diffusion. Previous chapter we have come across it. What is diffusion? Movement of particles from higher level to lower level. isn't it? Higher concentration to lower concentration. So this movement of gases by diffusion takes place through the cell membrane. So that is how gases enter the cell and exit. In the same way, water is very important, isn't it? The movement of water, especially in plants. This movement of water also takes place, but the process over there is called osmosis. Now what is this osmosis? Osmosis stands for movement of water, passage of water from higher level. See, I have shown the upward arrow, stands for higher level. Higher level to lower level. So higher level to lower level means where water is more, from there it will move to the region where water is less. Through a region which is semi-permeable membrane, that means through the plasma membrane it will move. This is definition of osmosis. Now this osmosis will be classified into two different types. Major two categories. What are they? Exosmosis and endosmosis. What is exosmosis? Exo stands for out, endo stands for in. So exosmosis is if the external medium is hypertonic. Come on, a new word again comes up. यही तो खूबी है बायोलॉजी की. You come across various terms, but they are simple to remember if you understand its meaning. Hyper stands for more. Tonic, tonicity stands for the solute concentration. So if the solute concentration is more, then it is called hypertonic. More than what? More than the external medium. I'll make it more clear. Your mother must have dried the mango pieces and she must have kept it for store to be used when mangoes are not available. That is for making amchur powder or dry mango pieces, or amla when it is available at that time she will cut it into pieces and then dry it up and store it. You must have seen that, am I right? So in that case what actually takes place is mangoes and amlas or any matter which is dried and kept is initially having water in it. Water content is high. So for drying, the condition is that it should not have any water. Minimum water, zero water condition. How can you take the water out? So for that your mother applies salt or sugar. Isn't it? Salt and sugar are the solute which is added, any one of them depending upon what you are preserving. If it is mango, you generally apply salt. For amla also it is salt, but amla can also be preserved by adding sugar. So when you add salt or sugar to the material, that is the mango pieces, when you rub salt into it and then you leave it, you'll find that after some time water oozes out. So the reason over there is the salt content outside the mango is more than inside the mango pieces. Did you understand? That is the meaning of salt concentration is higher than the solvent. Water concentration outside is less. Inside the mango pieces is more. Salt concentration outside is more. Inside the mango pieces it is less. So the movement of water will take place from higher to lower, means from within the mango pieces it will move out. That phenomenon is called exosmosis. Did you understand? Fresh grapes, you place it in water. But which water? Salty water. You will find that after some time the grape will shrink because water from the grape has come out. Because the external environment is hypertonic, salty. Endosmosis is contrary to that. Water moves in. Your mother before cooking pulses, she soaks it in water. Am I right? Because pulses are already dry. So you first soak it in water, whether it is a chana or the dal, moong, whatever you call it. They are first put in ordinary water, not salty water, ordinary plain water. In that case, what is happening? The medium is hypotonic. External medium is hypotonic. Hypo means less. Tonic, tonicity. Solid concentration less. Plain water means no salt is there. But the dried pulses will have more salt concentration, more nutrient concentration, more mineral concentration than the water. So what will happen? Water from outer region, that is external medium where water is high, will move into the pulses and make it soft and it will be swollen up. You have observed all this in nature, am I right? Dry grapes, kishmish. If you again put it in water, it will swell up, it will become larger. Why? Because it is taken in water. So this movement of water, actually what does it mean? Is it that water is moving only in one way? In this case, when the water is moving out, at that time the water is also moving in. Means, suppose you have taken a vessel and you have kept a fresh grape. Okay, fresh grape you have kept in the medium, and this water is salty. External medium is salty, hyper. So water from the grape comes out and water from the outer side moves in. Both the movements are there, but which is more? Yeah, water moving from in to out, that is from the grape to the outer portion, will be greater, the rate will be greater than the water which moves from outer medium to inner side. Since rate of movement from in to out is more, therefore it will shrink. Whereas in this case, again, when you are keeping the dal or pulses or dry grapes means it will be in this condition. That you are keeping in ordinary water. There also both the movements are taking place, in and out. Water moves from outer medium to inside and inner medium to outside. But here the rate at which the water moves from outer medium to the inner part of the soaked material will be greater than the rate at which it will move towards the outer side. So finally net result will be this will swell up. So the question comes, this is a situation of hyper and hypotonic. But if the salt concentration in both the cases are same, inner and outer is same, such a medium we call as isotonic. Iso stands for equal. In isotonic condition, where solute concentration in and out of the given substance is equal, that is same, the flow of materials will also be equal. Which material? Water. The amount of water moving in and water moving out will be equal. So there won't be any change. Means you keep a fresh grape in ordinary water, or you keep a shrunk grape, that is the kishmish, dry grapes, in the salty water, there won't be any change, because in that case it is an isotonic condition. Did you understand till here about osmosis? Exosmosis, endosmosis are taking place when the medium is either hyper or hypotonic, and during isotonic there won't be any change. Clear so far? Okay. Now in case of the amoeba, it has a very important process called endocytosis. Endo stands for in, cytoplasm, that is cell. So water moves or contents move into the cell. Means it's a process by which the amoeba is taking its food, acquiring food. It takes its food, it eats by the process of endocytosis. Now if I want to show it diagrammatically, 10th standard textbook, you will get it very clearly. So diagrammatically, if you want to see, an amoeba, I told you, is not having a definite shape. Shapeless, you can draw any shape. So this is an amoeba with the nucleus. This is the food particle which is outside its body. Okay. Now this amoeba, since it can change the shape, this is its cell membrane or the outer membrane. What does it do? It throws its protoplasm. This region is called a cytoplasm. The cytoplasm is thrown in two different directions, due to which the cell membrane moves out from these two regions. So it looks like two hands. Therefore they are called pseudo. Pseudo stands for false. Okay. It is false. It looks like a hand. So it is false hand. Poda stands for feet. Pseudopodia. Such false feet-like structures develop because of the movement of the protoplasm in two different directions, and they circle around the food particle. This part will be further pushed and they join together, and the food particle will become a part of the body. Now the digestion takes place within the cell. See, it's a single cell. So digestion takes place in the cell, and the undigested matter again comes nearer to the cell membrane. This time it will be opposite movement. If in the previous case the protoplasm was thrown towards the outer side, now the protoplasm will be withdrawn. It will be pulled inner side. So what will happen? Again there will be those pseudopores which will be developed, but this time the food particle will be expelled out. The undigested food material will be expelled out. So this altogether is the way by which the amoeba takes in food, which is called endocytosis. Understood? So now in the textbook, let us try to find out where these topics are which we have done so far. As I told you, the cell is made up of various organelles. The organelles we will take up later. But we started with the plasma membrane or the cell membrane. The outermost region of the cell is called the cell membrane. It allows entry and exit of materials in and out of the cell, I told you. And therefore it is called selectively permeable. Now, substances like carbon dioxide and oxygen, if it has to move, then it will move through a process called diffusion. When you say diffusion means what? It will be a movement from higher region, higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. For example, say carbon dioxide. It is more inside the cell. Am I right? When it does different work, the carbon dioxide builds up in the cell. In the external region of the cell, the carbon dioxide is low. So what will happen? The carbon dioxide will move out. From inside the cell, it moves to the outside of the cell by simple diffusion. It will just cross the plasma membrane. Understood? Same way oxygen. Oxygen outside the cell will be in higher level. Then it is inside. Okay? Oxygen level, when the level of concentration inside is less, the oxygen from outside will move inside. So diffusion plays a very important role in allowing the carbon dioxide and oxygen to move in and out of the cell. Clear about it? Water on the other hand again moves through membrane, but that process is called the osmosis. Okay, it is called osmosis. The osmosis is passage of water from region of higher concentration through a semi-permeable membrane to a region of lower water concentration. Now, the three things will happen which I already explained to you. If the medium around the cell has higher water concentration than the cell, meaning outside solution is very dilute, no salt is there or salt concentration is less, so the medium is called hypotonic. In that case, there will be endosmosis, means the water molecules will pass across the cell membrane in both the directions. Water will move into the cell as well as it will leave out. But what will be more? More water will come into the cell, then it will leave. क्यों? Hypotonic solution है. Water बाहर ज़्यादा है and salt concentration is less. So the cell will swell up, which happens in case of dried pulses. So sometimes you are asked the question, why your mother soaks dry pulses in the water before cooking? To make it soft. And what makes it soft? Because of this phenomenon called endosmosis. Is this point clear? Second situation is if the medium has exactly the same concentration of water as the cell. Cell ke andar and outside is the same water concentration. Then it is called isotonic. So what will happen? The amount of water which is going in will be the same as the amount of water going out. And hence the cell will be in the same size. I told you fresh grape in ordinary water or dry grape in salty or sugar water. There won't be any change. But if the medium is having lower concentration of water than the cell, means cell has more water, fresh grape, and outside it is less water, salt content is more, so it will be hypertonic solution. So in that case, the water leaving the cell will be more than the water which is entering, and hence the cell will shrink in the size. Okay? This is exemplified by an activity which is given in your book 5.3. Very simple activity, you can do it. Remove the shell of an egg by dissolving in hydrochloric. Means take little amount of acid and add water to it, and in that acidic water, you place the egg. So what will happen? The shell, that is calcium carbonate, will undergo corrosion and there will be holes made. Chidralu thai jase. Otherwise, if you try to remove the shell, the inner cell membrane will also break. Okay, so this is the way by which you can remove the shell without breaking the cell membrane. There is a white thin skin beneath the shell which is called the cell membrane of the cell, of the egg. So now, this particular egg, now you place it in water. The egg will swell up. बहुत मोटा हो जाएगा, फूल के एकदम बड़ा हो जाएगा. Now take another de-shelled egg. De-shelled means जिसका shell निकाल दिया हो, as it is mentioned in the previous case. Removing the shell is called de-shelling. So such a second cell, which the second egg you take, you de-shell it and then place it in a salt solution. After some time you will find that the egg has shrunk in size. Did you understand that? But if you do this experiment with the shell not removed, if you don't remove the shell, then there won't be any change, because shell is a very tough region. It won't allow anything to move inside. But when the shell is made porous by hydrochloric acid, this you can observe very clearly. There is a second activity given about the kishmish. Raisin stands for kishmish. Okay. If you put the dry raisins in the water, you will find that it will swell up. Clear? Now after it has swollen up, you again place it in concentrated solution, that is salty water. Now after some time you will find that it will shrink. So the swelling up and the shrinking is based on the concentration of the solute and the solvent. Is this point clear? Now where is this phenomenon of osmosis useful? Unicellular organisms which are found in the water, both plants and animals, they have to absorb water, am I right? That absorption is taking place by osmosis. Clear? The cells obtain nutrition from the environment, that also you know. That is again by the diffusion. Roots absorb water, roots absorb mineral salts. Have you learnt all this or not in primary classes? So how are they absorbing? That is by the phenomenon of osmosis. The plasma membrane helps in taking up these materials. Clear? Because it selects and it allows material to cross through. I also explained about amoeba's endocytosis. The cell membrane helps in taking in food. Engulf means take in food and materials from the external medium. That process is called endocytosis. That means it's a process by which the amoeba takes in food. Clear till here? So, I have explained the second topic about plasma membrane. Now questions related to it. So, two more questions as homework. How do substances like carbon dioxide and water move in and out of the cell? Carbon dioxide moves by the process of diffusion and water moves in and out by the process of osmosis. So, let us explain it as I told you earlier. If it's a lengthy mark, if it's a 3-mark question, then you'll have to explain. Otherwise, it's just a 1 marker, then only give the term. Here, they are asking you to discuss, means you'll have to explain. Clear? How do you explain it? Remember, I told you that carbon dioxide, when it is built up more than in the cell, then it has to move out. In the same way, oxygen, when it is more outside, it will move into the cell because of a higher concentration outside. Then why is plasma membrane called a selective membrane? Because it selects, it very carefully selects which material has to enter and which has to exit. Is that point clear? These two answers you will get it on the previous page, that is page 59. See, this one which I have marked, the plasma membrane allows permit from here till here would be the answer of why it is called selectively permeable. And the second one, that is about the movement of carbon dioxide. First you will mention what is the definition, diffusion definition. This is called diffusion. Spontaneous movement till here is the diffusion definition. Then some substances like carbon dioxide till here, which I have underlined, so the carbon dioxide moves out. And then similarly oxygen enters the cell by a process till here. That would be your answer. Did you get it? So next time we will take up a new topic. Thank you.